This is James with Net News Ledger. We're reporting from Lakehead University, where earlier today, Greg Rickford, the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines, announced that Ontario Northland will be extending its bus service to Thunder Bay beginning on April 20th, 2020. Here's the story.
So here we are at the LU with the new announcement with Minister Rickford, and you're here to talk about NOMA and how you got involved with this announcement. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is an issue that NOMA has had on our tracker for a very, very long time. We've been advocating for that ability to travel in between our communities and an inter-community bus connection. Obviously devastating when the Greyhound went down and it crippled our communities to be able to travel in between each other. This is a great announcement today. We're very happy to hear that it's moving to the west, coming to Thunder Bay. Obviously serves a lot of people that are students that are coming to Confederation College, anything to do with the city of Thunder Bay, including appointments in our hospital. But what we want to make sure is that we continue to advocate for the continuation to the northwest, out to our western communities that we still need to connect, as well as continue to advocate for subsidies to keep our existing service providers going so that they can go off the main arteries into our smaller communities. And let's not forget Highway 11.
Well, as I said earlier, Ontario Northland Transportation Commission has its revenue streams from its passengers, but it is also a passenger service that is supported by the taxpayer of Ontario and operated under my ministry. So we believe that the business case to come to Thunder Bay will pay for itself, but the investment that the taxpayers make in ONTC should be reflected in their ability to access parts of northwestern Ontario. That's what today is really all about.
So there's no concerns for revenue not being profitable coming to Thunder Bay?
Well, I think you're going to hear from the president of Lakehead University here very shortly, and hopefully the Chamber of Commerce to say the answer to that question is clear and unequivocal. Yes, Thunder Bay is a major city in northern Ontario. Travel to Thunder Bay for a variety of reasons, east and west, is constituted by medical appointments, family, university and college, and of course seniors who use it for a variety of reasons, and in particular medical. So we see it on the full expansion model. We see a great opportunity here and a strong business case for this to operate itself. Okay?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, folks.
There's been a significant change here when they're talking about students coming from Southern Ontario to Lakehead University. But when you travel the halls of the university here, there's also a huge number of international students who tend not to be having cars and driving, but they are using transport. What does this announcement mean for Lakehead?
Excellent observation. This announcement is just amazing for our students at Lakehead. So as you mentioned, we have thousands of students who travel from south of Thunder Bay to come to Lakehead University. And of course, we have a growing proportion of our student body that is also international. And for those students who are maybe landing at airports in Eastern Ontario or south of northwestern Ontario, to have the ability to get on a bus, a safe, reliable journey to Thunder Bay. It's a huge announcement for us today. We right now have, or at our fall count, we had 1,800 international students on our campus.
Do you think that having the bus stop at Lakehead University will help with enrollment?
I think it'll be really great because students right now, not only do we recruit students from the GTA, Eastern Ontario, other parts of Ontario, we are the university of choice for students in Northwestern Ontario, but having the ability to travel back and forth to their community, to their home, getting easily and safely to the university, I think it can only help us in the future. It's a really welcome announcement today.
Is this part of an expansion for you guys, looking at students in the Ottawa region and certain other regions that may not have been something you tapped into as much with your outreach when you look for enrollment?
We'll certainly be looking at that. We already recruit quite extensively outside in other parts of Ontario, but we'll certainly be looking for the opportunities that might come from this new route to Thunder Bay.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Well, we've been providing transportation services for over 100 years, and so our depth of knowledge and skill set to provide and connect communities in the north is second to none. And so the province is really committed to expanding and integrating various services and came to us for a business case, as government does, as an agency of the government. And we were proud and happy to provide that information so that we could do this expansion.
So when it comes to the expansion, it's beginning in April. How many stops right now do you have detailed planned? Things like that, how many stops will be in Thunder Bay? You said it's 6 days a week. Just give us a little bit of the details of how it will run.
Yeah, so obviously now that the announcement has happened, we'll be able to go out into the community and really do that deep dive into where we want to stop, where it's safe and reliable for the buses to turn around. We have done some, some work in that area, but so right now we're looking at 3 to 4 stops in Thunder Bay and various stops in between White River and Thunder Bay. But, as I said, I think people should really sign up on our social media, follow us, and make sure that you can we get the up-to-date information from us and promotions that we're doing and how we're promoting the services with the universities and the hospitals to make sure that people use the service.
So you obviously saw that the demand was there?
Pardon me?
So you obviously saw that the demand was there?
You know what? We, in the last couple of years, have really taken a focused approach to stopping at universities, colleges, and hospitals across the north. And, it feels so good to be able to do that because these are people that don't have any other option, right? You know Northern Ontario like we do. There's a vast geography, changing climate. People, even when they have cars, don't want to use them. This is a vital service in Northern Ontario. And so we've seen a huge pickup with universities and colleges and hospitals. And just that connection of being part of the province and now integrating health and education, which is also a provincial mandated service, it's the right thing to do for our agency and for taxpayer dollars.
Are you getting more buses?
Yes, we've procured more buses to expand this service, we're going to, as Greg mentioned too, we're going to be working so that we can really optimize our buses and integrate private carriers in some of the routes that we are already in to make a more integrated solution that supports the small businesses in these smaller communities.
When you speak about integrating the service,
Yeah.
So a customer, say for example, getting on a private carrier,
Yeah.
buying a ticket, say wanting to go to Ottawa, are they going to be able to do it in one shot?
So let me give you a good example. We provide service in Manitoulin Island, we provide services in Elliott Lake, and both of those are integrated with private carriers. So you go onto our Ontario Northland website to purchase a ticket, and you get a ticket from either Manitoulin Island or Elliott Lake, but that integration from that community out to our bus spine is their service. Customers don't realize that. It's just a seamless integration so they can go from their home in Elliott Lake all the way to Ottawa with one seamless ticket. So that's what we're looking for, and that's really what, when you look at it from the perspective of the passenger, which is what we've really tried to do and really get more close to what their needs are with Wi-Fi and entertainment solutions, that's when we see that it works so well with these private carriers, and we're hoping to expand that model as well.
Can you talk about some of the things you have on the buses, some of the services?
So you'll have to go out and look at it because there's nothing like taking a look and doing a tour of the bus. But, it really, people who take the bus service once say to me time and again, we can't believe your buses. This is not what we think of when we think of intercommunity bus. These are really clean. There's new buses. We have outlets at every seat. There's bigger leg room. We have washrooms. And really amazing feeling to be able to provide accessible washrooms. You're bound to a wheelchair. You have accessibility constraints, and we can support that as well with our audiovisual announcements. So, I think we've really connected with what customers are looking for, but please go take a look because you'll be surprised. And I think we all need to communicate that change because we have people that are really environmentally conscious now. We have people that could have a car but decide not to. And so this bus service is just becoming more and more important in our region of Northern Ontario.
So what are the costs for the ONTC in this case with this expansion? Like it was mentioned, more buses, expanding the service. What will it cost you guys?
So we're hoping, and as Greg said, our first focus is to work with the chamber, work with the university, work with the hospitals, and to do some really important marketing to get the ridership up so that we can get all the revenue we need to provide that service. We don't know what it will look like until we expand, and usually it takes a while to get the word out, which is why media is so important to tell our story, because the better we can do, the more expansion we'll be able to do with the province.
So I've never heard you mention anything, any kind of relationship with First Nations people. How many percentage of First Nations people work actually for your company, and is there a connection with the working relationship with First Nations people?
Absolutely. You know, we provide an essential land link to the First Nations communities of the James Bay Coast through our passenger rail Polar Bear Express train. So from Cochrane to Moosonee, we are the only all-season land link that provides services and to the First Nations communities. And we take that role really seriously, and we've connected with them and hire wherever possible Indigenous. And certainly up in Moosonee, we have ticket agents and other people working in our Express Freight division, and love to collaborate. It's so important right now with bus services to provide a safe and reliable service, and with the train service to be able to reduce food costs through the train so that we can get important nutritional foods up to the First Nations communities, and we're happy to expand that relationship. And if there's anything that we can do in Thunder Bay, we would love to be able to start that conversation.
So, but you never answered my question about how many First Nations, First Nations people work for you.
We have about 4 or 5%, but those are people that tell us. We expect that it's quite more, but you obviously have to tell us during the hiring process. So, and we're always looking to hire more. So if there's what it will do too is make sure that you guys have our link to jobs so that we can make sure that we are integrated with any services that you can help us attract more people. Love to. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video, and keep up to date on what's going on.